Right, julle, ek wys of julle om 'n ellipse te teken. I'm going to show you how to do an ellipse. This is the major axis, and I cannot remember the other one. Minor axis, and the major one is the long length of the ellipse, and the minor one is the shorter distance. Daai moet dieselfde wees, hierdie moet dieselfde wees. Daai ene en hierdie een moet dieselfde wees. Those two need to be the same, and these two need to be the same. Okay, so step number one. Step number one is you simply connect these are the points that your ellipse is going to pass through. Okay? Jy gaan dit deur daai 4 punte trek. So first of all, you connect any of these sides. You connect 2 of them, but very accurately. Accuracy is key here. So you connect that part. Okay? Now, secondly, you take your compass. Make sure that your compass of the lead is sharp. Make sure it's exactly in the middle. Now you take the major axis length here from the middle to the side, and you simply transfer this over to the top. Okay, so you take this distance and you place it there. Then what I do is I put my compass exactly on that point. I make it a bit shorter. I make sure it's exactly on that point there. That's quite important, this distance. I'm just going to test to see whether it's accurate. Okay, now I'm going to swivel it around. Okay. Okay, now this is normally where the kids make a mistake. So I'm going to call this point 1, and I'm going to call this point 2. So I'm going to have to bisect line 1, 2, this line up to that point. Okay, I bisect it. How do I do it? Put my compass on a nice big distance. Sit hom op 'n lekker groot afstand. Why? Because it's more accurate. I draw an arc at the top. I draw an arc at the bottom. Because I'm going to bisect this line, I do it there and there. I put it on point 1. I repeat the same process there and there. You can open it up on any distance. Okay, and this is almost the whole construction. Now, this is quite important. Make sure that you're exactly on that point. Okay, and make sure that you're exactly on that point. Okay, and the reason why I open up the compass a little bit bigger is if one of these lines are slightly off, it's not going to affect this distance and this distance as much. Okay, so now you get a point over here, and you get a point over here. Those are the points that we're going to use to draw the ellipse. Where must it go through? It must go through that point, all the ticks there, through that point. I'm just going to make an arrow for you. And this one over there. Okay, that's where it needs to pass through. Okay, now I'm going to start here. I'm going to put my compass on that point, make sure it's accurate. Open it up to that little tick. Now the interesting thing is, you need to make sure you end by this line. That's where it starts and ends. So I'm going to draw the arc here. Okay. Once I've done this, I take the same distance and I just place it on this side. So guys, why do I do this? Because I now don't have to go and redo the construction on this side. So I just copy this distance and I just put it on this side. Oh, shucks. Sorry about that. So my lead just moved in there. I'm going to have to fix it in a moment. Let's just see this distance is not accurate anymore. Let's just quickly double check it. I'm going to have to make an adjustment here. Okay, I'm sorry about that. I'm just going to quickly erase this. Okay, now the next thing, I'm going to transfer that point over to this side. The reason I'm doing this is that I can know exactly where to end my ellipse. Transferring this. Oh, this needs to be very accurate. And I'm also going to transfer it vertically. Normally I use triangles for this. One of my students borrowed my triangles this morning. So I'm just going to do it this way. I'm going to transfer this point over. And guys, again, the reason we do this is we are working with 4 semicircles. And now I know where this one starts and stops. That one will start and stop over here. Now the last bit is now where this line passes through there. That is where I put my compass in. Just like this one was that distance. Now I'm going to put it over here. And I'm going to open it up to that point. Okay, and I'm going to check that it is actually on the point there. Now before I draw the line, I first check, because sometimes, like you saw what happened earlier, sometimes something might happen and it might be slightly off. If it's off, it means that you work inaccurately, but there is a way to cheat that a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer this distance to the other side here. So I'm going to make it this distance with a compass. I must make sure that it's exactly correct. Just going to draw a little arc there. I'm going to transfer that distance to this side. And now I'm just going to turn my compass around, make sure it's on that point. I open it up. I place it there on that point. I'll go and check it on this side. Make sure that it is correct. I'm just going to do it faintly first. I see it's perfect. So I just draw it. And I make sure that it's accurate. You'll see there's a slight difference there. If you want to double check this, you can put your compass there and then just draw a quick little arc there, and you can place it there and draw a quick little arc there, and I can see, you cannot maybe see it, but it's like 1/4 of a millimeter, a little bit upward, where I can move my compass and then it will be perfect there. Okay guys, this is the ellipse construction. Once again, I copied this distance to that side. I used this point I used for the arc at the top. I used this point, which is the same distance, for the arc at the bottom. This point was used for that arc. That point was used for the one at the bottom, same radius. Okay, where this line that I bisected, where it went through here, this was the point I used for. From that point I used this radius. Okay, and where it ended there, that is exactly where it stops, and I took it down as well. That's how I know where this arc stops. You can also draw this line through here. I didn't do it, I just transferred the points. And now obviously this distance must be transferred to the other side, so that I can also then do this arc here. But please note, that's exactly, I'm making little dots, we don't normally do that, but just so that you guys can see where this arc stops, where this arc stops. What's the main mistake kids make? They normally bring this line over, which is this radius, then they transfer this distance over to this line, but then point 1 and 2, instead of bisecting only this part of the line, they bisect the whole thing. And then you will see this line will sit more to the middle, and then obviously your points will be off, and then it's not going to work. Okay.